Hey everyone, welcome back. Alright chat, this is it. This is the new most ridiculous build from the update. It's official. DE has broken Garuda. If you recall, once upon a time the Tenet Tetra used to have 0% fall off, and it also was actually affected by energized munitions. After Sisters of Parvos dropped, DE came back and patched it to have 60% fall off instead. Honestly, that was fine since the vast majority of meta AoE weapons have 80 to 90% fall off. So this still kept Tetra competing at the top since it had higher blast radius, higher base damage, and even better fall off, instead of being absolutely overwhelming firepower. The only drawback? Even with energized munitions, Tetra could only shoot 4 times and you still had to reload. Our way around that was Garuda's exclusive Blood Forge augment that instantly fully reloaded your magazine. This was extremely important to get around the 1.8 seconds reload. While that reload wasn't that bad, it just made the weapon feel much smoother. But then DE changed Tetra so that it always uses 100% magazine no matter what, even with pistolier or energized munitions, so the alt-fire nuke on its own is dead. And you probably also saw my Ambassador alt-fire build at one point that had 100% crit, was pure electric, and also 100% status. That thing was lethal, but had a much longer reload that we also used Blood Forge to bypass since it could only shoot twice per magazine. This new build showcases a combination of Ambassador and that Tetra. This is Blood Forge Zarr. Garuda's recent rework made it so much better than before. Zarr has the reload problem of Ambassador, long and slow, except even worse since it's one at a time. Bloodforge instantly gives all 5 shots back, and Zarr is the next best thing to the OG Tetra with 0% fall off that shot 4 times. This thing has 70% fall off instead of current Tetra 60, but at least it can actually shoot more than once. Also, while the blast radius is 7 instead of Tetra's 8, Zarr is affected by Amalgam Firax mod, whereas Tetra wasn't, so the AoE actually ends up larger. On top of that, Garuda's passive change made it so she gains extra damage on kills, instead of being low HP. I don't know the exact scaling, and honestly I don't care. I know it caps at double damage, and this did make her passive infinitely sustainable on certain setups. While it does ruin some of my very old Garuda setups, it is a huge boon here. We're building a Gloom Garuda today. It is a very small tweak on my older Garuda Gloom build from last year. If you want to check that out still, I'll leave it down in the description. I'll also be releasing a bunch of Garuda builds closer to a prime all-in-one video for you to pick which ones you like best. But back to Gloomruda. Zarr only slightly surpasses 100% crit chance. Avenger pushes it high enough to see more oranges than yellows. Avenger damages you, and Bloodforge also damages you. It's very easy to kill yourself this way. Gloom counters these to give you basically a free massive crit buff to push Zarr towards oranges while also healing back the near lethal damage you can set up with Bloodforge plus combat discipline since it instantly drains 50% of your HP on cast. Gloom will also slow enemies down enough for them to rarely attack you, making them ripe for the picking with your nuclear Zarr blast radius. Together, you can freely run back and forth CCing enemies and blasting them apart, all the while benefiting from a massive crit buff, free heals, and, well, because she scales off kills now instead of low HP, you actually get her passive permanently active for 2 times total damage, despite almost always being at full HP. This is the OG Tenet Tetra alt-fire setup, reborn once again. So what does that Garuda build look like? That's pretty easy. I only tweaked one thing over my original Gloomruda build. Here's the original Gloomruda on another tab. Actually, both of these configs were the same with just the ores changing. This one is the Bloodforge setup I'm using now, and all that changed? I got rid of primed continuity. With how fast you kill enemies and empty your magazine, you will be casting Bloodforge pretty much every 5 seconds or so. That means you're getting 40% of your energy back every 5 seconds. Oh yeah, DE buffed this base value from 35 to 40. Anyways, 40% of your energy bar is 108. You're not going to be burning through that much in 5 seconds spamming your Zarr with the drain cost of Gloom. Even on this negative drain Gloom build, it still only drains 10.34 energy per second at max, which means at worst, you only lose 51.7 energy every 5 seconds. The rest of the build is just focused on getting a decent Gloom slow and solid range. 175 range is more than enough extending Gloom to 28 meter radius. This is about the furthest most enemies can actually hit you from accurately and ensures any adversaries that matter are slowed and ready for your Zarr. 223 strength gets us to 78% slow, which isn't capped, but is honestly more than enough for how much you're moving around. Their shots will lag behind your position and also be over 4 times slower. Prime sure-footed for obvious reasons when using a Zarr, and arcane acceleration since reload doesn't matter, so we're stacking as much fire rate as we can. If you want some kind of shield gate option in the rare time your shield drops without having to use your 4, you can put Gloom over your 1 instead. A Blood Altar at 100 efficiency on this 4 Augur Sat build will refill all your shields instantly, and you'll still have Gloom up. For the Zarr, it's a Toxin Progenitor. You have 2 options, either go full corrosive or viral 100 munitions. For Bestial Path though, this build is so strong, there is no point going viral slash. If it's Corpus, just change the corrosive to double toxin mods. We are only using the cannon fire mode. And because we aren't going viral slash, the 100 munitions is now the flex slot I filled in with Amalgam Serration. It is up to you if you want this, for also the extra sprint speed, or Infected Clip. Rest of this is very standard. Crit chance, crit damage, galvanized multi-shots, primed banes, which are a 2.4 times multiplier on the slash build but only 1.55 here. Prime Firestorm obviously to expand the base 7 meter blast radius. Stacking it with the Firax Amalgam mod gets us to 13.03 meters, which brings it up to par with Bramma at 13.28. And you'll notice we have no reload mods, only fire rate, stacking as much as we can, because Garuda will reload for us. Yes, I know I have critical delay, but the penalty is tiny. And I'd rather have the extra crits. Merciless regardless of corrosive or viral since we're just spamming, don't worry about stacks, they will be forever maxed, and Vigilante supplies to make up for our ammo spam. Now our pistol, an Augur stat stick with 2 mods. I don't think I need to go over this here, you won't be using this at all. And the Firax, also a stat stick, just this 1 Amalgam mod. You also won't be using this at all. Focus School. Materai for the bonus elemental damage. There really isn't anything else worth using. However, for the pet, I did bring an actual Panzer build, for one reason and one reason only. Marauder Symbiosis in the rare case you somehow bottom out your HP. This stops combat discipline from killing you and kills your cat instead. Tech Assault gives it 60% chance to not die when Martyr procs, and Panzer Devolution gives it infinite lives. Just keep in mind Martyr has a 30-second cooldown, so this isn't a literal invincible card. Still, it shouldn't have to proc much. And that's it. Get into a mission, cast Gloom, and get to killing with the Zarr. When the magazine runs out, just press 3 once and get back to shooting. Just an endless cycle of shooting, pressing 3, shooting, pressing 3. Wukong tier gameplay. No effort required. The clear potential on this is absolutely ridiculous. I was getting about 130 to 140 kills per minute on horrible tile set generation, so I imagine on optimal tiles, you should be able to surpass 150 kills per minute without much issue. If this is your first time watching, feel free to leave a like or better yet subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. 79.5% of you are not subscribed. I've tried my best to get you new information out always as soon as possible like I did with the new war on these augments lately. Stick around if you want to see interesting memes and builds on a nearly daily basis. You don't want to miss out on any of that, do you? That'll be it for this video. Thank you all for watching and see you all next time.